Welcome, everyone, to the 2023 Connectathon Equinox event. This is the third one that we're having now, and we are well past our prototyping stage. So, what a celebration this is! This is a celebration of life, it's a celebration of our human potential, it's a celebration of nature, and it's our more than celebration, it's our collaboration in connection with each other, with life, with Earth. This is going to be a sacred time for us to connect throughout the next 24 hours. We are gathered here from all parts of the world, and what we are going to be doing together is weaving a narrative of life, weaving a narrative of a possible future now by finding inspiration in each other and in ourselves. Right now, what I want to do very briefly is just present some welcomes from some of our key team members. I'm going to start off with Tim.
Yes, welcome, and great to see so many old and so many new faces. Absolutely fantastic. And Violetta.
Welcome, everyone. This is exciting, the third Connectathon, this time in September. And let's make sure that it's a memorable one.
I pass it now to Feriel.
Hi there, everybody, and a wonderful welcome from Scotland. It's 8 o'clock, just after 8 in the evening, and it's so amazing to be here with all of you. And if it's anything like last year or last time we did this, then I know it's going to be a wonderful time together. So welcome.
And Susie.
Welcome, everyone, from the tip of Africa in South Africa, and so excited. Such an honor to be here. So looking forward to it. Thank you.
And the last member of our welcoming team is Majida.
Hello, welcome from Paris, France.
So
I was having a bit of
going...
connecting, and a lot of people are having problem connecting, so it will take some time for people to join.
Thank you, Majida. So now what we are going to be doing is setting the stage during this first hour. Setting the stage means looking at what we can do as a community to co-create the narrative of the Connectathon. My name is Alexander Laszlo, and I'm going to ask you, I'm speaking to you from Buenos Aires, Argentina. I'm going to ask you, if you're not speaking, to put yourself on mute. So Majida, that's you as well, so we can avoid the echo. And we are now being live streamed to YouTube as well. So one thing I want to do in setting the stage here with you is to think about our role, all of us, in co-creating this narrative. If this Connectathon means participation and interaction. There are going to be times when you will be listening, times when you will be participating actively, times when you will be sitting and reflecting, and times when you're going to be getting up and moving. So there's going to be an ebb and a flow. And what we are going to be asking of all of us, and you'll hear now from the team members of this first hour as we set the stage with you, what we're going to be asking us all to do is to weave this narrative actively. This means red threading. It means taking the ideas that we are developing and finding the connections among them, bringing them forward and connecting with each other. We connect with ourselves, with each other, and with our living planet. So to start things off, I am going to light my candle over here. And if you would like to do something, because this is a sacred time. So I have my candle here. I'm going to light it and keep the fire burning. The fire that is burning is going to be one that connects us to the future, to the past, to our ancestors. And I just blew it out. Sorry. Got to be careful what I don't speak into my flame. Here we go. Okay. And in doing this, I would like to call us into aware readiness, where we bring in our connection to the last Connectathon. And with this one act, we will receive what we released in the last Connectathon, and then I will pass it on to the rest of our team to share how we do the red threading. At the end of our last Connectathon, we all gathered in our virtual community and together released our intention into the world, into the universe, our intention to bring alive our connection to a global eco-civilization of light, love, and fostering each other's deeper human potential. That intention, as it was released, as a big ball, was released into the universe, we are now going to catch it and bring it into this Connectathon. This is the first act of our ritual of engagement. So bear with me. We're going to start right off with some interaction. I'm going to ask you to stand up if you can, move back if you have space. Stand up. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to reach up and out together and imagine that we are catching our ball of intention that was released from the last Connectathon. As we reach out, we bring it with a big sound into our heart, or a big sigh all together. Bring it into your heart. This is our intention from the last Connectathon. It is now connected to us here. So let's continue weaving our connections from the last Connectathon throughout the 24 hours of this Connectathon now. I pass it now to the members of our team. We're going to start off first with Majida, who's going to help us understand part of the ways of the rituals that we will be practicing throughout the Connectathon. And you are mutable, Majida.
Yes, I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Alexander. I appreciate you so very much. Before I start the introduction of the passage of breath, I'll joy to share with you one magical word that feels relevant to the topic at hand. It's the word andalai. It's Amharic, the official language of Ethiopia, and it means together. But it's a combination of two words, and, that means one, and lai, meaning to rise, like elevating. It gives an image of many ones, like all of us here, coming up together, creating an elevation already by just being here present. This deepens the invitation of together. So we are here, andalai, enjoy, which brings me to the passage of breath. Our most powerful gift and medicine is one we all have in common and share since the beginning of humanity. Full of nourishment, information, and care, the air that we share is so natural everywhere, we forget it's there. We are like babies in Mother Earth's womb, the biosphere. So, aware of our interbeing, our ancestors regularly made time for breath rituals. It's wonderful that in our current times, there are more and more ancient breath practices available and new ones created for us all. We are like the multiverses with us here in our universe, flowing in a continuous process of expansion. Being conscious of our breath, we are then gifted presence, infinite possibility, and connection. In this 24 hours Connectathon, the breath ritual invitation extended here as the passage of breath is one we can all do together at the end of each session, as each speaker is open to end with a passing of breath. And for all of you to join at the same time, being like the one heart that we truly are in the bigger picture in reality, in the interbeing, and using the heart coherence breath, which is 5 seconds in breath and 5 seconds out breath. So that will be 10 seconds, that to be done at one time or at least or more, depending on the speaker and depending on time and flow permitting. Before the heart coherence breath sharing, that will be done with a gesture, and we'll demonstrate all this later. I'll do that. There's a possibility to also do some humming together for 10 seconds or more. The humming is also more powerful when done all together, and has a bonus of a fun vibrational inner massage as well. But really, breathing consciously together, even just for one breath, is a door to the mystery and the marvel of life, as well as gratitude and acknowledgement to our aliveness. So I'll happily demonstrate this passage of the breath later at the end of the hour, so that we can all enjoy the experience with a hand gesture and feel together and delight. I'm complete.
Majida, thank you so much. And here we have, can we just back up one moment to look at the previous slide so we can see that passage of breath beautifully also. It's such a beautiful slide. There. So this captures beautifully what Majida was just sharing so eloquently, so beautifully. This is the entire Connectathon, is the breathing in and breathing out. Indeed, it is also the conspiring. We're breathing together. Very important for us. Please, please help us do this throughout the Connectathon, not just by yourself, but with each other. And now we'll go to the next part of our rituals that we will be practicing together. And Susie, can you share with us a little bit about the Council of All Beings? But before you go, let's look at that slide. Look at that, okay? So this is a little bit of capturing that spirit of the Council of All Beings. What's this all about, Susie?
Okay, so the Council of All Beings is actually a beautiful communal ritual where those with voices, being us humans, represent the voices of speaking on behalf of other life forms. So the ritual was actually born in Australia in 1985, and through word of mouth spread throughout the world and is celebrated now, where the human persona is the voice for those who cannot speak. And today it's our turn to be the voices on behalf of Mother Nature. So this ritual gives us an awareness of our connection to the living body of Earth and the acknowledgement of this interconnectedness with all life. And Gaia, our Earth, our home, is actually a living, sentient being. So through this practice, her wisdom can be heard by those with the ears to hear. And by being the voices for others, it's something that reconnects us with our compassion and caring. It's a safe space where the voice is safe and free to share, which is a very new safe space for nature. And it serves to awaken us to remember that we're all connected and that all of life is ancient and has been around for a while. So wisdom of all of existence lies within us, and this is what we're all working up to. The beings that coexist with us in this web of life are profoundly affected by our actions, and much needs to be said and heard. So the Council of Beings gives them a voice. And as we are all one life force, as Majida says, with no separation, it is possible that we can create a healthy and a loving home for us all. So it's time to dig deep. It's time to connect, and it's time to listen. So I invite you during the Connectathon to practice the Council of Beings throughout the hours ahead, and to really listen and to be open to that inner nature voice that we have, which we have in presence, and seek. So we're looking for the voices that come through us that are seeking to express themselves. and the diversity and expression of these voices. So we are these voices in the next 24 hours for nature. Everything that does not have a voice, it's time to speak. And Alexander put a lovely quote up that I captured, which W.B. Yeats said, "The world is full of magic things, patiently waiting for our senses to grow sharper." So be present, enjoy, listen, and thank you for being the voices for those who cannot speak. So that is the voice, that is the introduction to the Council of All Beings, but Alexander will carry on from there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susie, from speaking from South Africa. You know, we are going to be practicing this Council of All Beings in just a moment here. And the idea with this first hour, remember, it's a 24 hours that we're doing this. So the idea with the first hour is to ease into this Connectathon. We are going to be connecting now through this 24 hours, but the idea is to do this ongoingly. And we have a platform for this called Kodu Earth. And we're going to put the link there also in the chat for you. And this is a place for us to continue to connect. These practices of breathing, of representing the voice of the voiceless, and now, as Ferial will share to us, of the deep listening, these are the practices of connecting and of the Connectathon. Ferial, please share with us.
Hi there, everyone. Can everybody hear me? I'm hoping you can. So I just want to say thank you to Susie for what she shared about the Council of Beings and to Majida. And during these next 24 hours, I really want to encourage you to engage in the practice of deep listening. And this is in a response to what they've just shared, right? And particularly what Susie has said. Just really thinking about how you can represent the voices of all the Council of Beings. And they include humans, and they include animals, they include the seas, the rivers, you know, all of the beings, voiceless and those who have voices, right? And I think if you can look at it from these three different perspectives. So the first being the essence of deep listening. So it's about opening the eyes of your heart, right? And tuning into the voices of our descendants and our ancestors, both human, of course, and non-human, right? We think of ancestors very often as human, but, well, if you think about us, we consist of, you know, I think 80% water. So surely water is a big ancestor of ours, right? A very, very ancient one. And so is every other element on the earth today, or in the universe, really. And it's this practice that goes beyond just hearing with your ears. It's about truly understanding and connecting with the wisdom, or with the messages that wisdom, that all of these Council of Beings are bringing to us, and they're offering us, right? Because these are wisdoms that go beyond our own understanding. And then if we link into our inherent connection. So contrary to how we very often live, we are not separate from this wisdom. In fact, it's deeply embedded in our DNA. So deep listening acknowledges that we carry the collective knowledge of our ancestors and the resonance of the world around us and within us. So it's about recognizing and embracing this inherent deep connection. Now, when we engage in deep listening throughout these next 24 hours, we'll explore this practice, right? And you're going to need to, if you're not doing it already, then really put it into practice. This is your moment. So this practice involves being fully present. I think it was Susie and others that have already mentioned this. Fully present, not distracted, but really engaged in thinking, this is our moment. This is our 24 hours to do something really special together. So setting aside the distractions and actively seeking to understand and connect with the messages that will contribute to a word cloud we're going to create a little bit later on for you. But no need to worry about that right now. It's all about how you are seeing this collective wisdom kind of show itself and come to life. So it's a journey of mindfulness and empathy that we'll all embark on together. Thank you. I pass back to Alexander.
Excellent. Well, okay. So we're getting a little bit of the sense of what is this Connectathon all about. Just to remind us again, because we're just getting started here, this Connectathon is not a networking event. We're not here just to exchange business cards or to find out how we can perhaps connect our projects. No, this is about being the world, being the civilization, being the planet that we want to live on, being that planet together in the ways that Ferial and Susie and Majida have just invited us through the sacred engagement with each other. We'll be hearing from presentations from ancient and future wisdom sections that will be talking to us about different parts of the world and how we connect with life, with each other, with love. So let's put some of this into practice. We don't want to be talking at you at all throughout this time. So this was a little bit of introduction just to set the context, but now we're going to invite you to participate, okay? But we don't want to throw you onto the stage and have you start off right away with necessarily doing any kind of performance act or activity. So what we'll be inviting you to do is to participate in a play space, but a sacred play with the Council of All Beings. So now, if we can already put up perhaps the first slide, what we're going to do with this Council of All Beings is we're going to collect your expressions. So it's going to be some deep listening, as Ferial has just shared with us. And we're going to be then responding to the prompt here, which no need to read ahead. If you want to, you can, but I'm going to be reading it also to you. So we'll take our time with this. And then we're going to be spending some 15 minutes or so just listening to some music and capturing in a reflective way, listening deeply into what the message is for us during this Connectathon. So if you're ready, get comfortable, open your heart, open your listening now. Now you're entering the Council of All Beings. And cast your deep listening into the distant past, when our ancestors held life in sacred balance with nature and with the living forces of Earth. Listen for the message they want us to hear now. What is the message humanity needs to listen to, needs to hear from our ancestors? And as Ferial said, these can be ancestors, not only human ancestors, but all our ancestors of all beings who want to pass a message down to us. Write that message down, perhaps in one sentence. We're going to take some 15 minutes now. Write it down, and at the end, when you feel comfortable, put one word into the chat that kind of captures this. Maybe it's a hyphenated word, but it should be one word, basically. And we're going to then capture that in a word cloud, and we'll see how the spirit is emerging among all of us here. All right? So now perhaps we can start with some gentle music in the background as we listen to the message from our ancestors. Wow, wonderful. So as you might see if you are tracking the chat, we're getting these words. They're going to be collected into a word cloud. The tech team is putting stars by the ones that are already in the word cloud. We're going to continue doing this as we move on to our next part here. Remember to breathe. Remember what Majida was saying. Remember to breathe throughout as we are continuing to weave our narrative. So now we're going to go to the second part of this Council of All Beings. And when we're done with this, we're going to be able to see, Ferial is going to show us what has appeared in our word cloud that is emerging from all that you're putting into the chat, the words. So let's go to the second part of this now. Yes, Ferial, please go ahead and put up the slide for the second one. And we're going to continue to take another 15 minutes now. And I'm going to invite the tech team to continue to put stars by the words that have been put into the word cloud and to continue putting things into our word cloud. And everyone else, please keep putting your words down as they come into your hearts, as you are engaging in the deep listening. So here is the next prompt for us for the next 15 minutes. Again, open your hearts, open your ears and the ears of your being, and cast your deep listening into the far future, when all life on earth is thriving in dynamic harmony once again. And listen for the message of our descendants, the message that our descendants want us to hear now. These are our children's 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 children, but of all beings, not necessarily just of human beings. Again, write down a sentence or two of the message that you hear from them that we need to be listening to in this Connectathon. And then choose a word that best captures this message and write it in the chat. All right, let's get back to that hang music. And no, that wasn't long enough. But here we are back now, coming back into our interbeing together. Again, this was part of the breathing in, and now the sharing that we did, the breathing out. And we have been capturing, but there's been such a beautiful cascade of words that I am quite sure we haven't been able to capture all of them yet. But the tech team is helping us put these into our word cloud. And Ferial, if you'd like to share with us how that's coming, how that's emerging.
So this is some of the words that we've all been adding. And I want you to have a look at this because this is kind of our collective sensing together, right? And I want you to notice some of the words that are coming out a lot stronger than others, like love. It seems to, there's a focus around that, the word compassion. So I would ask ourselves, why do we think love is coming out really strong? And this is not just happening here. Every meeting that we're in, everywhere we sense making together, it seems that love is always at the center of all of this. And could it be that we have to ask ourselves questions about love? Could it be that maybe our concept of love sometimes seems to or tends to lean towards the mushiness of it all? But is love perhaps balance? Is love perhaps, I think it is Alexander that said it in a meeting we had this past week. He said it's the very fabric, the very essence of all of life, which means it is not mushy. It's something whole other that somehow we've lost the ability to truly understand and truly capture. Maybe we have to spend some more time around it because our hearts is telling us that, right? We're listening. The ancestors are telling us that. The future is telling us that. So maybe spend some time around this. Another word coming out really big is compassion. So I think I want to ask us a question about that. Do we have compassion for ourselves? Or do we lean very often towards having to be perfect, having to do everything so meticulously, or never really desiring to fail at something? Because I don't really think it's about failing, right? It's about learning. So compassion has something to do with learning. If we're not compassionate with ourselves and with others, we cannot learn, because it is through missing the mark sometimes that we are learning. So I ask for us, it's coming out really big. So in other words, the ancestors, you, the future, the animals, the trees, the birds, they're telling us, if you've been listening in, they're saying, we need you to be compassionate beings. Another word that's coming out big is aliveness, right? So I want to ask all of us in this space, when we're doing what we do, could we do that from our own aliveness space? So for me, that aliveness speaks of a contented happiness, right? It's been something that's coming up again as well in other places, is how do we create from that place? And in ourselves, if we're not experiencing that deep, innate happiness, then probably create will not be emanating that, because it's a frequency we carry. So the question becomes, how do we nurture that love, compassion, aliveness within ourselves? Another word that's coming up big is responsibility. I love that word, by the way. The reason I love that word is because we think of it as a burden, right? I have a responsibility for something, but I want to just say it a little bit differently. And I want you to think about this. Responsibility. Responsibility, the ability to respond. And let me tell you, every one of us have an ability to respond to something. So this doesn't become a burden, but in fact, it is a privilege to have this ability to respond. So what do you have the ability to respond to? I see the word transformation hacks. Well, this is why we're here, right? In the Connectathon. So I want you to take these 24 hours and connect with each other, talk to each other, tell each other about the things we're busy and we're doing out of hopefully our being, right? The things we're having fun with, we're playing with, because out of those things, we're going to find those transformation hacks. Let's pick another word coming up here. I see the word freedom. Wow. I'm actually hosting a session on some of that in the Connectathon. So what is freedom to you, right? We've all grown up in various different contexts, and freedom doesn't necessarily mean we have to be incarcerated or at least being in a prison. It doesn't have to be we have to be incarcerated or we have to grow up in a tremendous kind of oppression. But sometimes that oppression is just inside of ourselves, right? And so I ask you the question, how can we be free? How can we make sure that that word's happening? Largeness, I'm seeing this come out. Oh my gosh. How can we become people that are large, right? Our hearts that are open. It's back to the love and compassion. How can we be larger, right? In our capacity to include others. Family is coming up, right? So, well, just recently I've learned that you're all my family. I mean, I know I've always known that, seeing that we all have two eyes and nose and mouth and things like that. But recently science is telling us our original ancestors, a group called the Khoi and the Sun, who lived about 150,000 years ago, and making us all family. So we have actually got no need really to fight about stuff. Maybe it's time to really learn how we become family, right? I see the word knowing. Is knowing about our minds, or is it about our hearts? Is it about us coming into that space of balance and learning from everything around us? It says wake up. Ooh, shall we? Shall we start to really wake up, right? I see symphony. Ooh, that is beautiful. So I love to sing. I'm a singer. And I think that when music is not, when you don't hear that kind of harmony in it, right, then very often it can be quite jarring. So it's about us weaving and finding our way with each other. Now, this is not easy, right? Because remember, we're so different. We've grown up in so many different contexts. There are these different ways of being that we have. But how can we have that love and compassion for one another? How can we have some of the hard conversations? How can we reach out to each other's hearts and not fight with each other, right? Because somehow that's something that we've been enculturated into, war. So how can we not do that? Slow down. Ooh, I like that word. I think when we actually slow down, we actually speed up. So I wonder if that's a way of being for us as we look forward. The ancestors are saying this because ancestors were not in a hurry like we are. So I wonder, how do you slow down? Think about it. Think about the things that make you come alive, because I'm telling you, they are the things that also help you slow down. Beauty. I see the word beauty. Wow. Beauty is just everywhere. And if we're not appreciating that, if we're not slowing down and looking at that beauty, what is this all about? Right? So I want you to think about that. The ancestors, the future is saying, the animals are saying, ooh, beauty. Humble. We love our titles. So I wonder if we could find a space where we start truly being humble. And I tell you what, when we look at nature, when we look at everything around us, it is humbling. And those experiences you didn't love in your life that have kind of forced you into your humble space, because the universe is saying, it can only work with those of us who are willing to say, this is not about me. This is about everything else. It's about me being a part of the oneness of everything. I see that word. I see unity.
Thank you so much, Ariel. Thank you. This is awesome, and it continues to evolve and emerge. I mean, what you're seeing on the screen, the words are coming in, and they're continuing to evolve and emerge. So what a beautiful, beautiful expression of us. We are already in the Connectathon, connecting through heart spaces. Ferial, thank you so much for sharing with us the dynamic emergence of our interbeing. Now, as we prepare for the next hour, and we're going to take a little bit of transition between each one, I want to give you just a few words about the next hour, and then pass it on to Majida, who is going to help us again with the last ritual, which is the ritual of breath between sessions. And this is the entire Connectathon is us weaving this red thread, this thread of meaning, the thread that connects us heart-based, just as we're doing with this beautiful word cloud that continues to emerge, right? So fun to watch it emerge as Ferial was reading and sharing with us what is significant there. Beautiful. So what we're looking forward to now in our next hour, we're going to be moving into the next theme. You know, this Connectathon has been built around 5 themes. Being rituals, which is this first hour. It's also hour 12, when we're going to be doing the actual equinox moment of the time of the equinox. And then it's the last 3 hours as well, which we're going to be wrapping everything into a tapestry of meaning, and then taking it into the time between Connectathons through the Kodu platform. We're going to put the Kodu platform link for you again into the chat, because it's so key that everyone hops onto the Kodu platform so that we stay connected. This Connectathon is just a link for that to begin with. The next session is going to be on the theme of, the general theme is our humanity. There's being rituals. The second theme is our humanity. Another theme is ancient and future wisdom. Then there are living economies and tools for transformation. So the next hour is going to be our humanity, and we're going to be starting looking at how we can motivate. What does it mean to be self-motivated? How do we motivate ourselves in this process? But as a transition, let me pass my breath to Majida, who is going to take 5 minutes or so to, or a little less actually, maybe 4 minutes to take us into that transition. Majida.
Thank you, Alexander. Well, so I explained it all, but what I felt would be wonderful is to actually do it together. And you know, I said earlier that if the exercises, as soon as this person finishes their sharing, if the time permits, there will be a bit of humming for 10 to 20 seconds, followed by heart coherence, 5 minutes in breath, 5 minutes out breath. And the intention is to breathe in, bringing the hand to the heart, and breathe out, bringing it out. And we can do it slowly, like we're passing, you know, like if I was ending a session, I would, you know, take in everything that I heard say, that I felt from everyone, and then share it back, you know, with love and gratitude to the next person, like I'm passing my breath. Because in truth, you know, we, like I shared earlier, we're all in the same air. We're all like swimming, we're one. We're, you know, the air that I breathe is the same that you're breathing there, Alexander, and just that thought brings me so much joy. So maybe if you wish, everyone who wants to participate, you can unmute. That way we can hear each other and we can hum together for like 10, 20 seconds. And after that, I can do the closing, and I'll read you a poem, after which I'll actually officially do my closing of that and pass it on. And that way we'll just start the ball rolling of the breath passage. Okay, shall we unmute to hum together? And the beauty of humming is just hum with your mouth closed, like that you feel the vibration inside, but it's also much grander that we're doing it together. It's sort of a cosmic circle with our voices that are shared energetically. So let's enjoy that together for 10 seconds. Ready? Unmute if you want, or that unmute, but just let's hum. I will do it. And then breathe in. Bring the hand to the heart. 5 seconds. And then breathe out. Share it over. And because it's very simple, I wanted to take this time to share something. This poem I just discovered a couple of days ago not even. It's today's. Thanks, Alexander. That made all, without vibration, that made all my cells vibrate. Yeah, like they were saying, yes, it's true. And so it is by a person called Jane Upchurch that I just discovered and searched today. And the poem is called The Love Song Cosmos. And I do know it by heart, so I'll follow it on the screen. In the beginning, a breath, so simple, yet perfect. An exhalation of space-time interwoven with energy and dark energy, matter and dark matter, and early atoms of hydrogen, helium, dancing, singing, fooling. No random bang, but beauty, design, purpose. The weight of a womb, like night births, early stars, alchemical cauldron of elements needed for later, fine-tuning and exact matching of resonance to craft. Carbon, nitrogen, oxygen are building blocks of organic life. Then the thermonuclear blast that seeded space with stardust, what power coalesced our planet, held and informed by her own star, Sol, and twinned with our moon, so their dance drives healing tides and future forms. Gaia is not a static sphere, but a flow of magnetic tectonic rocks feeding oceans, making air, changing and affecting each other in a dynamic interplay of cohesion. And so with the biosphere, myriads beings finding relationship and balance in self-adjusting ecosystems of innate unity, complete diversity. There is no blind. This is not blind, not accidental. We embody cosmic intelligence, are sentient beings. We are part of each other's past. We affect each other's present. We are Gaians. We can co-create our future together.
Thank you. And we are at the top of the first hour, concluding this opening of the Connectathon. Welcome. I put the poem into the chat in case anyone would like to see it, the one that Majida just read. And now we pass it on to the second hour. Thank you again so much for being with us. Enjoy.